Good evening and welcome to Unscripted. Special thanks to Redefining Paradise Suits for hosting us today. Now, if you do a quick Google search on autoimmune diseases, you will find it's an illness that causes the immune system to produce antibodies that attack normal body tissues. Meaning, autoimmune is literally when your body attacks itself. Sounds a bit crazy, right? Well, on today's show, we have a special lady who is here to share her experience. She's battled several for many years. But first, here's Dear Diary.
I have gone through several difficult seasons in my life, one harder than the previous. I have asked countless questions. Why me? Will I ever catch a break? I have cried and almost been on the verge of giving up. Now, a few seasons wiser, I know I have not experienced the most difficult season yet, but I still look forward to better days ahead. I am certainly grateful for the perseverance and grit that the previous seasons have developed. If for anything at all, I am grateful for the kindness that I have experienced from random people and the clarity for which previous situations have enabled me to view current conditions. I am grateful for the small mercies and the small victories. If you look hard enough, no matter how gloomy it may seem, there will always be something to be grateful for. This journey, with its aches and its pains, has taught me love.
Welcome to the show. This is Unscripted. I'm your host, Grace Msalame, and I'm here with, I don't know how I can describe you, Fiona, or introduce you. You are a very strong woman. You reached out to us on social media and you told me you have an autoimmune condition, lupus to be specific, which has led to several other conditions. Yet, one thing that struck me, you said, but you know what, Grace? I keep fighting. But before we get into that, maybe you could explain to people at home about your health journey. Tell us, paint the picture for them with what you shared with me.
I was diagnosed with lupus in October of 2015. Lupus is an autoimmune condition, which generally means that your system fights against its own self. So my white blood cells fight against themselves. And it's been quite the journey. I've had my seasons of wellness and seasons where I'm ailing. But through it all, I always make it out somehow. A better person, sometimes wounded, but I always make it out.
You do,
Yeah.
you do. When did you realize something wasn't right? And when were you diagnosed? Because apparently there's a difference between when you're sick and when you actually figure out what is wrong with me.
That goes way back, way back. With autoimmune conditions, it takes up to 10 years for an actual diagnosis.
But why?
Because with autoimmune conditions, your symptoms mimic other conditions. And we don't have a measure for what disease you have. You know, when you go to the hospital and you have malaria, the doctor will actually send you to the lab for a malarial test. But with autoimmune conditions, most of the times it's a criteria. So with lupus, to be specific, you have what they call the ACR criterion, where you have to check 4 out of 11. So if you only have 2 that are specific to lupus and you don't have 4, most
then
of the
can't
times
really...
you can't get a diagnosis. So they actually you have to wait up to when you actually have the 4 to be declared a lupus patient.
I see.
So I started falling sick when I was around 11, 12. I got my diagnosis when I was 23.
Wow.
So it was quite the journey. It's been quite the journey.
So through that whole period, what did you think you have? What was happening?
When I was 12, I got the diagnosis of a rheumatic heart disease, and I went through penicillin injections for a while. A year later, I got the diagnosis of juvenile rheumatoid arthritis with the hopes that I would outgrow it by the time I was 18.
So already you've mentioned 3 different things, right?
Yes. So with
juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, I was put on what they call non-steroidal anti-inflammatory NSAIDs, the meds like ibuprofen, nice.
Thank you for talking to the layman, what that means.
Yeah. But what these meds do when you take them over a long period of time, they really mess up with your GI.
I can imagine.
So I started getting sensitive to certain foods, and we wouldn't know. And this would happen right in the dead of night.
Wow.
And I was so young, I couldn't explain what was happening.
What you were feeling.
Yeah, so I'd go to hospital, and what I would tell the doctor is, I have a bubble in my throat. That is what an 11-year-old me would say.
Because that's gas, it's trying to come out, isn't it?
So I was referred to a pediatric gastro, and she asked me if this bubble
This thing you're feeling
is bitter. I was like, yes, finally, there's someone who actually gets me.
Because before that, I'm guessing you had seen several specialists, general doctors.
And that's when she ordered an endoscopy. And I remember after the endoscopy, the doctor was so shocked that a tummy could actually look that bad. And I remember when he sent my biopsy to hospital, he actually wrote in capital letters, urgent. I can't remember what he told my mom, but it was something that really shook my mother. But luckily, I was not cancerous or anything, so I was just put on medication to heal the tummy.
If I could ask you, in total, because from the lupus, there's still several autoimmune conditions that have formed. How many are they in total?
There's Sjogren's, there's Raynaud's, there's been speculative myasthenia gravis.
Is any of this familiar to anyone? This all sounds like jargon.
It has been, and the saddest bit is that when you're diagnosed, you're so hungry for a diagnosis, because when you're going to hospital, you know for sure something is wrong.
You just want to know what it is.
You just want to know what it is.
But the reason I'm also asking is, I feel like, I could be wrong, when you, let's say with the lupus, when you're diagnosed with that, and whatever else formed after that, I was reading an article where a doctor was saying, in some cases, the doctor will treat the symptom, which then just suppresses it, and which ends up causing, like what you mentioned, the gastric issue. So are some of these just like a cause of either the medication or misdiagnosis, or it sort of pairs with...
With lupus, to be specific, because it's an autoimmune, it's a systemic disease.
It is.
It occurs with other autoimmune connective tissue diseases.
Got it. So there's a breakdown inside one part of your body, it follows through with, it affects another part of your body.
Yes. So it can occur by itself alone, but in most patients, it will occur in pairs, what they call overlap conditions. So in most lupus patients, they'll have lupus as the main condition, so to say main, and then over time they'll develop Sjogren's, which is an autoimmune systemic disease of the moisture-producing glands, where they'll have dry mouth and dry eyes. Then they might develop Raynaud's, where you wake up and you realize that you have blue fingers or purple toes.
I see.
And so scleroderma, hardening of your skin. So that's what happens. I don't know. I got lupus, and within months I lost my walking. I started having gritty eyes.
Wow.
Within months. So I don't know if it was the drugs. I don't know if it was just waiting to be suppressed and everything to blow out.
I see.
I don't know.
But also there's one thing you said which is so powerful. You just want to get a diagnosis. Because something is, like you said, from 11 to 25. Yeah, before you're diagnosed, you don't know what's happening. So I can imagine even just the mental, emotional, financial exhaustion of what is going on. Yet for you, the minute you're diagnosed, it sort of changed everything.
Yeah.
It was almost downhill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a mental thing? Or like you said, it could be reacting to the medication?
What I've realized over time, and I wish we could do this, is that no one really prepares you for what autoimmune is. Most people don't even know what autoimmune conditions are. most people are suffering in silence because you're just jumping from one doctor to the other. And it really takes a toll on you because remember, there is no cure for most of these conditions. So what you're given is something to suppress your immune system and painkillers.
So it's a life of management.
But autoimmune doesn't have boundaries. It permeates into every sphere of your life. You're constantly fatigued. I wake up tired and I go to sleep tired. So your career will definitely feel the impact.
Of course. Are you able to have one?
No. At times it's hard. It's really hard to do an 8 to 5 most of the time with the level of fatigue that you have.
Yeah.
Your social life suffers because I would have a date with you pre-planned 3 months ago, and on the D-days or one day I'll wake up and my joints are swollen and my body just says we're not getting out of bed, and I will have a speech in my head as I try to explain and try to wonder how I'm going to break it to you that, you know what, I just can't make it today.
I like how you said you have to create a speech in your head. Does that mean through this journey you feel like no one understands?
Very few people understand.
Okay.
Very few people stick with you. So there's the emotional aspect and psychological aspect that comes with it.
Of course.
And there's a guilt that you feel.
Yeah.
Because remember the financial aspect that comes with it?
Yeah, we'll get into that.
You max out your insurance, if at all you have any.
Does insurance cover for this?
Very few take you up. So you are paying for your medical expenses out of pocket.
Yeah.
It's not cheap.
I can imagine.
It's not cheap. So you drain out your family's resources pretty fast.
Yeah.
And there's a guilt that comes with it. And if it's not really necessary to see a doctor, you keep quiet.
I see. And we'll be back very soon as we continue this conversation with Fiona and get a better understanding of what it's like living with an autoimmune disease. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Unscripted. A special thanks to Waridi Paradise Suits for hosting us yet again. We're truly grateful. And here with me is this amazing young woman, Fiona. Again, I will say this again, you're a very strong young lady. Take me through management of having lupus and what a day in your life looks like.
Fatigue. There's a fatigue that just never goes.
I see.
Sunglasses.
Why? The sun, the light irritates.
Yeah, sun and lupus don't mix.
I see.
A lot of sunscreen.
Got it.
A hat, white brimmed. You know, I'll be the crazy Kenyan on a street with a sun,
And
with
the
a
shades
hat.
and sunscreen.
Yes.
I see.
Very light duties. I can't manage heavy duties because of this fatigue, joint pains. I can't use public means because I'm not fast on my feet. Basically, lupus is in its own way a limitation. There's so much that is not seen physically that goes on inside.
Internally.
And you would say life is not fair.
Yeah.
And it probably isn't, but you still have to give it a fight and a fair one.
Have you tried other means other than taking the constant medication all the time? Are there other avenues you've tried?
You do try, but it's taking everything with a pinch of salt.
I see.
Because
what works for you may not work for someone else.
Yeah. So I have tried clean eating.
Okay.
You can try exercise, but also exercise is limited to how much you can take as an individual.
Yeah.
I probably can't work out like a normal person would because it would probably wipe me out clean.
Yeah.
I would say swimming is my best.
Really?
But I haven't been in a pool in a long time. I was in the water once and I got a seizure and I got really scared.
So actually take us through, what are the symptoms? What do you go through? How does your body respond to lupus? to someone at home who, like you said, this is something that takes forever to be diagnosed. So people could be unwell and they have no idea what's happening to them. If you could take us through the symptoms.
You would experience what they call a butterfly rash or a mala rash.
What is that?
It's a rash that spreads across your cheeks through and across the bridge of the nose. So it's basically something like this.
Got it.
And because we are of a darker skin, it would appear crusty, I think, and a bit on top of the skin. So it wouldn't be hard to miss.
I see.
There's fatigue, joint pains, oral and nasal sores.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. And the seizures? What causes the seizures?
Now, the seizures are basically could be an independent problem. You might not experience that forever. There are people who never experience that because that is a problem with the central nervous system.
Yeah.
And for me, seizures came before my lupus diagnosis.
I see.
Yeah, I was diagnosed with complex partial seizures in 2012.
Okay.
I got my lupus diagnosis in 2015.
I see.
So I still don't know if they're
What's causing
interconnected
that?
or they're two independent problems. I don't know.
So you mentioned earlier, a day in the life for you is you can only do very light work.
Yeah.
So in terms of even for you, just for your own, to feel, you know, like you're doing something or, you know, giving back or you want peace of mind and for something you enjoy doing, are you able to work? And
I haven't had that because I graduated in 2015. When people were graduating and throwing their hats, if we do that in Kenya, I wasn't admitted.
You missed your graduation?
I missed my own graduation.
How was class? Were you able to attend school?
I was on and off.
Okay.
It was on
Even
and
when you were
off.
younger?
Yeah, all through from class 6. I've been on and off school.
I see.
So school was hard for me, very, very hard.
Yeah.
You'd meet teachers that would understand you. I was bullied through high school quite a bit.
Why are you bullied?
I tend to think high school kids are the meanest creatures on the face of the planet.
Well, that is true. They don't understand.
They don't
So because
understand.
you're different.
I was different. So I was bullied for that. I was harassed
I'm so sorry.
quite a bit. So school was hard. I just wanted to get out. So when I got into campus, my idea was never to tell anyone that I have issues, because maybe that would make my life easier. And it did.
Okay.
Until I started skipping school a bit too often.
And you had to explain why.
And I had to explain to my friends why. But I think in campus people are a bit more understanding.
They're more aware.
Yeah.
You can read about it.
Yeah.
But what's been your hardest part in all of this, Fiona?
Seeing my dreams disintegrate.
I see.
I had dreams. I had planned my life to the letter. To the letter. And relinquishing that and not knowing what next. There are moments where I wonder if this is going to be the rest of my life.
Till today, you ask yourself.
Yeah, I ask that so many times. Will this be the rest of my life? Will lupus stabilize to a point where I don't have to worry, where I don't have to go to the doctors and it takes months for them to figure out what's exactly going on. And remember,
is that a possibility?
Yeah, there are people who go into remission, and I'm
Okay.
hopeful that I'll get into remission.
Good.
But before you go into remission, at times it's quite a bit. It takes some time. And I am just that one patient that before we get to know what's happening, we dig. And
you do your research.
it takes the doctors quite a lot of time. And before we get there, I'm only being managed on painkillers, in and out of hospital. It's crazy. Remember, every visit is money. Every minute there's the emotional draining part of it, of going to hospital, and the doctor doesn't know what's happening, but they have to manage the pain.
You told me there's once you wrote a will.
Yeah, I have written a will for the few things that I would call mine. I have written my obituary, and I have written my eulogy.
Wow. How bad was it at that point for you to feel or think this is it?
it was bad to the extent that I thought there was no point of living anymore. I was in pain. I was fully dependent on someone else to get my meals. We were up all night with my mother trying to just calm the pain. I was on crazy amounts of painkillers that could not cut it. The pain that makes you sweat and black out.
So sorry.
And I just thought, I can't do this anymore. I've done it long enough.
Yeah.
And if this is going to be the rest of my life, And because I don't think I have the energy to take my own life, I thought if I prayed my way through heaven, maybe God would comfortably take me.
Really?
And I remember I would get so upset when I wake up and realize I'm still alive. But that changed the day when I collapsed in the bout of pain. And when I, quote unquote, resurrected, I found my mom in the corner of my room. It was around 3 a.m. And she was kneeling, screaming at the top of her voice that her daughter is dead. And my feet are cold all the time. So our help was touching my feet and she was trying to shake me back to life. And I think the fact that I was cold, it was just...
they were worried.
They were sure I was gone. And my mom was there wailing out, my daughter is dead. And seeing my mom in that pain, I was sure I was not ready to die. I was ready to back. I was ready to give it a fight one more time for my mother. We have fought this with her. I was ready to pick it up again for her sake.
And keep fighting.
And keep fighting.
Wow, Fiona. In terms of support system, or even to someone at home who is battling an autoimmune condition or disease, what would you tell them to encourage them right now?
What you're going through is not strange. Someone else has gone through it and they've come out stronger and better and they've made it through. So I think it starts from here. You have to will yourself through it.
You do.
You have to will yourself through it. You don't have a choice. You can have the meds and everything, but if you don't will yourself through it, it's not going to happen.
What made Fiona say, I need to reach out, I need to start a blog and talk about it. I need to have conversations like this on a platform and share my story. What led you to that?
For healing, for my own personal healing for starters, that's when I started the blog, because I hadn't gotten to a point where I can heal or accept. Then I realized we have very little awareness about autoimmune conditions.
We do. I'm learning a lot just from hearing your
You
story.
tell someone you have lupus and they expect a whole bio class from you. I can't explain it. I also had to learn on it.
I see.
And I feel that if people are more aware of it, even supporting the people are, the support system will be more equipped on how to handle the patients.
That's true.
Yeah. I think that is what motivated me largely to share my story.
And thank you. Thank you for being brave enough to do that. We need to take a short break. We'll come back and hear from Fiona's mom and also hear about the importance of having a support system to help with this journey. Please do stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Fiona, we are joined by your mother. Thank you so much for coming with her today. I have to ask, I'm sure many of us at home are wondering, how has the journey been like raising your daughter and seeing her go through this for the last 13 years? Yeah, Mama Fiona.
It has not been easy, but it's workable because so far so good. I think I've journeyed with her faithfully, and I keep telling myself that it is an assignment and I have to ensure that I get something out of this assignment. I don't want to fail. I've been there with her physically and emotionally, She said that at times she had sleepless nights. We were going together. It also affected my work in one way or the other. But at times I had very understanding employers. I had hospital visits. I had work to be done. And at times I also had to take care of her in the house, and especially when the house girls are not available.
And you have other kids as well?
Yes. But it's doable. And this is the product of what we've been taking care of. So I wouldn't say that we failed.
I know we all have dreams and ambitions. We spoke earlier what you wanted to do career-wise, start a family at some point. What are those dreams and ambitions, and how are they, can I say morphing, or how are they changing now if they have? Yeah, tell us a reality of how that looks like.
They have certainly changed a lot. Like I said before, I had everything mapped out to the letter, which of course that was crushed. I wouldn't say I have anything planned out right now.
Yeah.
Because life has a way of throwing curveballs my way. But I certainly know the things I do not want to chase.
Oh, really?
If that makes sense.
So you're looking at life differently?
Yeah.
What success, happiness, joy means is very different.
It has put things into perspective. There was a time when marriage and children at a certain age was definitive success to me.
Yeah.
That's not it anymore. There was a time and education was everything to me. But what's an education if I'm not healthy?
But we have to mention, you still do have a degree in what again?
Economics and statistics.
Smart girl. She's a smart girl.
So, but you see, over time I realized, fine, I have the papers, but if I'm not healthy, they're not of much importance to me. So it has really put a lot of things into perspective. So I really don't have a clear picture of what success means to me, but I do know what it is not, if that makes sense.
It does. I think sometimes before we figure out what we want, we're very clear of what we don't want. And that's, I guess, step one into getting there. We have to mention, like I said, there could be those at home who could be experiencing something similar, autoimmune disease or just incurable disease, or some people have a different kind of cancer. What is the best way in terms of support system? It could be family, it could be friends, it could be employees. What's the best way you feel that we can be of support?
Drop the cliches. Please drop the cliches. We've had them, we know them, we recite them, we know them. Please drop the cliches.
Like what?
It's going to be well, we know that, or we don't know that. I could drop dead tomorrow.
So what do you want instead?
Ask me how I'm doing. Ask me when and how and where it hurts, and what I would want. Ask me, does your knee hurt? What would you need? And I think we live in a society where, given the fact that majority of us as a nation are Christians, we can really over-spiritualize things. So the idea of someone coming for support is them coming to pray for you. I have no problem with prayers. They are good, they are essential, but prayers can only do so much. It is okay for you to come.
Even scripture itself says faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
So you're praying for me, but also what else? How other ways can you help me as well?
It is okay for you to allow me to cry because I'm devastated, and allow me to cry with you. It has taken me a long time to allow myself to cry over the fact that I am unwell, because I associated tears with weakness, that if I cry then I'm not brave enough to handle it. And it took my elder sister to tell me it is okay to cry. Fiona, cry. So support is allowing your loved one or your friend to be themselves, not polishing and sugarcoating the situation, because we are already guilty. There's a guilt that you carry for being constantly unwell. So allowing the person to be vulnerable is
And
good
process
enough.
as they
Support.
is best for them.
Yeah.
Process how, works for Fiona.
Yeah.
If I could, Fiona, what would you like to tell your mom? If you were to have a message for your mother, having walked with you all these years, and she continues to. Our moms will always be our moms and our biggest support. What would you tell her today?
That I am so grateful.
You can look at her. I'm asking for her.
Mom, I am so grateful for everything you have done. You have sacrificed so much. Even in the next world, I'd still choose you to be my mother.
Thank you.
I'd still choose you to be my mom. I may not be in a position to pay you back financially, but I love you so much.
Thank you. How does it feel hearing that, Mom?
Because I don't want to be emotional.
It's fine.
But it feels
Process
good.
however you feel.
It feels good. It's also good to be appreciated.
It is, right?
It is. It's good to be appreciated.
To others watching who are the support system of could be their children, others it could be their wife, others it could be your mom who's unwell. What can you tell them at home to encourage them?
I would also echo Fiona's words. Be there for them. At times, there's nothing much you can do. We cannot even give that medication, but be there, as she was saying. We visit the bedroom in the morning, ask what you're feeling, what can I do for you? And it helps a lot, and it makes the person feel that I'm not walking this journey alone.
Yeah.
But we ought to be there for our loved ones, and especially when they are down.
And you have, how's your relationship with your sisters? You're 4 of you, aren't you?
Yeah.
In your other relationships, how has this journey affected your, it could be with friends, it could be with opposite sex, how has this affected your relationships?
It has really redefined my relationships a lot. I've lost some, I've kept some, and the ones that have stayed are actually stronger.
Over time, right?
Yeah, over time.
Yeah.
Dating is difficult.
It is.
It is.
Finding someone who understands.
Yeah, most people don't want to commit to someone with a chronic condition. It's extra baggage. So it took me some time to wrap my head around that, but I think I'm at a place where I'm okay with it now. But I have gotten to a point where I am seeking quality relationships.
Good. Quality over quantity.
Yeah, so I have very few friends, but they are quality relationships.
Good.
And learning that friendship is actually a two-way thing. So I give and I take, and at times I'm not able to give as much physically, but I have learned the importance of a phone.
Of a phone.
Yes.
This helps with our communication,
Yes,
doesn't it?
it does, because
Yeah.
I'm not able to be there physically most of the times.
Yeah.
But the phone does wonders.
It does.
Taking time to call and check on people, it does. It has really redefined how I look at things. So lupus has its pains and everything, but if I look back, I'd probably not choose any other path. I am proud of the woman it has made me become.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
You're a strong woman. Thank you. As we wrap, I want to finish on a happier note. What makes Fiona happy? What do you love to do for fun? What gives you zeal, excitement? Yeah, as we finish up.
You want to take me on a holiday?
So you like traveling? Is that what that means? Is that the answer?
Yeah, I enjoy traveling.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't get to travel as much.
Okay.
I love writing. I journal quite a bit.
Hence the blog.
Yeah, hence
Got
the
it.
blog. I knit, though I haven't knit in a long time. Yes, before
You
it was,
knit?
I knit. I am 25 and I knit.
Look at that.
Like a 70-year-old. The idea was to knit when I'm 70. But
You had your whole life planned out clearly.
Yes, I had everything planned out.
Well, good job, Mom. You raised a very serious daughter. And at least you can do those things.
Yeah, those I can do.
I think it's those little things, even in the midst of all that's happening, just finding moments,
That keep me
pockets,
grounded.
yes,
They
keep you distracted,
grounded.
keep you happy.
Yeah.
Goes a long way, right?
It goes a long, long way.
Super. Thank you so much, Fiona and Mom, for coming on the show today. We appreciate you both. We celebrate you both. In fact, our partner Farajati have a special bag for you.
Thank you.
Si umeonja chai ni tamu.
Ni tamu sana.
So I have some tea bags for you. I have an apron. I have some mugs. I know it's one bag, but it's enough for both of you to share. No, thank you. It's just our small appreciation.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you both. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
And thank you at home for watching and staying tuned. And I hope you've learned something from their experience on how to handle autoimmune diseases or how to support those who are affected by it. Keep watching, keep talking to us. Our handles are right below. We'd love to hear from you. Until next week, do have a good one and God bless. Bye.